shall we get started?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's start out by just engaging, okay?
Okay.
Let's engage the heavenly classroom. I do think we should try to honor Pearl for her birthday. Isn't it also, am I making this up? All of a sudden, I think I remember it's also Lorato's birthday. Is that true?
I don't
I
remember.
don't
I saw
remember.
she messaged, but I didn't read the message.
Oh, now that I'm thinking of that, I think they have the same birthday.
Oh, they do. They do. Yes, they do.
I can't believe I forgot that. Okay. Well, hopefully let's engage with both of them.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay. Let's try to focus back here. And since none of you have your cameras on, I will have no idea if you are focusing here or not.
And I am back. Oh,
You're back. Okay, thank you.
yeah.
So I
No.
saw Fair, you had a lot of things that the Lord was showing you. Would
But
you
I didn't.
share any of this?
Yeah, I just typed it up and I share it because it may not be for me. Um, but yeah, I'll share it now. So there was some things being healed. I saw that there was like a small child being hugged, well, hugging me, and I wanted to know if it's from some of the things that I've been going through that we may have commonality with. So I just asked the Lord to get her. I think it's a girl. Um, and yeah, I also saw somebody's feet being healed. I was like, okay, is something wrong? It's just weird, you know? And I was like, is it a bunion or something? I was like, I got a slight bunion, but it's not like huge. You know, like
Amanda said, me.
oh, okay. Okay. Because I was like, I don't get it, you know? But then I saw um, a gate, a removal of things that was blocking hope, the hope gate. And I was like, now that could possibly be me. Um,
I felt like that was you, actually. And maybe it's
yeah,
more than just you, but I did.
yeah. And then I saw that there was also a boulder of unforgiveness being removed. And I said, that could be me as well. And I welcome that. And then there were several legal documents. I wanted to talk to the angels in the classroom, but I was seeing more of that. Like a certificate of completion and a departing ticket and a document of hope restored and health restored. And yeah, so a lot of that stuff. Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
good. Cool. Awesome. Anyone else have anything that you'd like to share about when you were engaging?
I didn't have anything like for anybody. I was trying to like engage over it for Fair and for you, but I didn't have anything. But when you were talking about the feet, the bunion, a couple of weeks ago, I had a dream, and in my dream, my left heel, like they cut around the edge of it, and then they went in there and removed something. But when they removed it, they didn't sew it back up. So
Oh,
I've been trying to engage with that, and ever since then, I've had a pain there, and so I'm just going to engage with what you were saying about maybe I don't think it's a bunion, but it feels like something was in there. I want
hmm,
to engage with that as well for healing.
That's cool.
and I hate to bother y'all, but what is up with this? It looks like an alligator stomping around. It doesn't look huge. Can somebody take a look at that? It's like it's stomping around on the outside.
I would like to look at that because that's not generally a good thing.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Okay. I just saw that this thing is like waiting to be let in. And so we need to be aware that we aren't opening doors for this thing. Okay.
Yeah. Is it pride, anger, resentment, hurt, pain?
I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know. Mm.
Yeah.
I felt like it was throwing a tantrum.
Yeah. It was just like on the outside. It wasn't huge, but it was, you know, it always had a propensity to grow depending upon us. But anyway, yeah. But
Okay. How about I really feel like we're supposed to be aware during this class today
yeah.
not to throw a tantrum on the inside. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yes.
Like, don't be upset at something not changing or the Lord not doing something or whatever it might be for you. Okay.
Okay.
But
Thank you,
let's
Lord.
keep focused and not let that thing in.
All right.
Amen.
Cool. Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Yay. Hi. Nice to see you.
Hey.
So, where are you off to?
I'm on my way home from church.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool.
Sorry.
It's fine. No problem. Okay. So, I want you guys all to know I know you all have legitimate reasons. I don't know that. I assume you all have legitimate reasons for not having your cameras on. I will just let you know it is hard for me. I've told you this before, and I totally understand when you can't. But please give me grace if I'm trying to teach without talking to people, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'm gonna look like I'll cam up, but it's not the prettiest picture.
Fair.
You know me.
Look at me. I didn't even do my hair today. Look, I have
No makeup, no
stuff
nothing.
on.
I still
So
have on my moo.
some weird, like half waves, half straight. Who knows what's going on here? Yeah, that's my life today. Okay.
Ta-da!
You look beautiful.
With my new chains on my braces.
Ooh, nice.
So
That's cool.
yeah, I'll stay cammed up.
Thank you. Okay, you guys don't even understand how much it helps. It's so weird to try. I don't know why it is such a hang up for me, but it is hard for me to teach to no faces. I don't know. It's such a weird thing, but I'm like, I'm trying, but it's almost like I'm trying to produce something instead of have a good conversation. You know what I mean? And it feels weird. So thank you. I appreciate it. Um, so I wanted to I didn't want to actually. This is what the Lord wanted to. And I'm not throwing a fit, by the way. That's not what I'm doing. But I am saying that he wanted me to talk today on the courts of heaven. And I think that this is going to go a little bit further than just the mobile courts. If you guys know what that is, the court of accusations. Um, I know Amanda and Fair, you at least have a good knowledge of the courts. Karen, I have no idea if you do or not. So would you say yes or no? No?
Still learning.
Okay. Hey,
I
that's
go.
fine.
I go, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. I'm doing it.
Well, the cool thing is we have the best attorney who knows what he's doing. And just like I would never go to court in the natural without an attorney because I would look like a complete idiot. Um, I do the same thing in the courts of heaven. So I have no idea what I'm doing unless he's leading me. So please, I would take that strange advice to just do whatever Yeshua leads, even if it seems weird. Can I tell you a story? You guys know I love stories. Hopefully you do too. There was one time when I was with this lady and I did not know her. Okay. So I had just met her and the Lord said we needed to go to the courts of heaven. And she was going through uh a strange mm, she wasn't getting a divorce yet, but she was needing to get a divorce from this abusive guy. Okay. And she was trying to leave and she was scared to death and also had no idea how to make money for herself and all sorts of, you know. And so the Lord led us to go to the courts and we were doing all this stuff. And then out of nowhere, in the middle of everything, the father told us to come up to his, like, oh, I don't know what it's called, but to the front where he is, you know what I'm saying? And approach the bench like that. All right. So anyway, we went up to the front and he gave her a piece of lemon meringue pie. And I was like, what in the actual, what is going on? Like, this doesn't even make sense. And I am thinking, I am way off. I can't see crap. This is totally made up in my mind. And so I didn't say anything. And then the father like wouldn't let anything keep going until I said something to her. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to sound stupid. And so I'm like, okay, I know this is going to sound really weird, but this is what I saw, that the father is giving you a piece of lemon meringue pie. And she started weeping. And she said, lemon meringue pie is her very favorite. And she had been depriving herself of anything that she liked. It was like, eating wise, she wouldn't eat anything that made her happy. It was some weird thing that she was doing to try to cope. And she said that the father giving her lemon meringue pie was like this ultimate act of love that she didn't even realize she needed. And it was really cool. And the funny thing is, this was a lady who was in South Africa, and I didn't even know if they ate lemon meringue pie there. Like, you know, I knew that was something in the States, but I didn't know over there if that was even a thing. And so it was really cool to see how the father did something in the middle of a court case that seems really weird and not normal. What is it, Fair? What's up?
I don't know why I sense this, but I see like in the spirit a pig leaving. What in the world is going on?
A pig leaving? Hey,
It's like his big bottom is like wobbling out like.
I don't know.
And so
Is
I'm
that
looking at the Lord
obesity?
like, what is up? I am praying about some other stuff that I'm hearing in my spirit and in my heart. And I'm like, Lord, why am I seeing a pig with his big rump walking away?
I
Y'all,
don't
I'm sorry
know.
for being weird.
No, that's okay.
That's not weird. I was praying about obesity, and I was really praying about this. I wonder if that's for me. I don't know.
That's so cool.
So weird.
Yeah, but okay. So this is what we know. The Lord does some weird things. Okay. So that's really, I mean, that was kind of the point. In the courts, you don't always know how it's going to go because the Father will do weird stuff sometimes to give us some sort of kind of secret communication. And that's, I think, even the pig leaving after Karen's praying about obesity seems like a pretty direct, like, secret language for her. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I hear you. I got you. You know, I think that's what's happening. And so when we go to the courts, no matter what court you're called to go to, okay, most people are going to the court of accusations. I would say that. Um, Almost everybody, when you're going to the courts, you are thinking of the court of accusations. You may or may not call it that. A lot of people call it the mobile court. Some people don't have any idea. They just know they're going to court. But this is generally where people are going. When you go there, the most important thing I would say is to go with Yeshua. If you find yourself in a court and you did not intentionally go there with Yeshua, it is very common that it will be a counterfeit court and you will hear a bunch of crap that's from the enemy pretending to be God. And so you need to be sure that you're going with Yeshua. Okay. And if you're like, hey, I don't see him here, then you need to go, Yeshua, where are you? Are you with me? Am I just not seeing you? Are you really here? Am I somewhere I shouldn't be? You know? Okay, so just double check that. The other thing is, I would not go to court unless you are led. A lot of people decide that they're going to go to court. When you do that, oftentimes your soul is involved without your spirit. And so that is not helpful. You are again going to be doing a bunch of stuff that isn't led by the Lord. So you want to be engaging with your spirit and make sure that you're being led wherever you're going. Okay. So let's talk a little about the mobile court first. Because this is generally the starting place. It's not always, but I would say generally this is the starting place. If you're led there, I would always try to honor the Father for entering his courts. I mean, we enter his courts, no gates, with thanksgiving in our heart when we enter his courts with praise, right? We all know that silly song. But this is really the biggest thing, is that you actually do praise him and you give him the honor that he deserves for even allowing you to come before him. The most important thing that we can do is we go to the mobile court to get our soul in line with the truth. So here's what most of us don't understand. We are giving wide open doors to the enemy because our soul isn't in line with the truth. Okay? So, for instance, everybody here knows that sin and death have been defeated and you have victory and you're not guilty, right? Y'all know that? Okay, that's the truth. Why do we have to go to court? Because our soul feels the opposite way. Okay. Our soul is still partnering with shame and guilt and all of this crap. And a lot of it is because bloodline stuff or stuff from our past or trauma, or I mean, we can name a million different things. We've done stupid stuff, right? But our bodies and our souls often think that we are sinners. We also inherit stuff from men we've been with. Okay. That is something that also happens. That happens, and we have all this stuff that comes up that we're like, where did this come from? That's not me. And it's because it's in your body and it is connecting to your soul now. And so we have to do, I would say we have to do a lot of work. That's not accurate. We don't have to. Yeshua's done all the work. Okay. He's done it. It's done. But if we are going to live a fruitful life on the earth, then we need to bring our crap before the Lord to get in line with the truth and have that not guilty come and resonate in our soul. Okay. So when we go to the courts, I've had people go, but I don't know the verdict. Well, I love you very much. The verdict's always the same. It's no big surprise. You're always going to be not guilty. Okay. So if you're like, I don't know if the Father's saying not guilty, of course he's saying not guilty because that's the truth, but your soul has to accept it. And so when you come with Yeshua and you're standing under his sacrifice, you listen to the accusers come and tell you all the stuff that is wrong. What you're doing is you're opening up your soul to the Father and to Yeshua, and you are saying, what legal right does the enemy have here? So the enemy is going to speak the legal right they have against you. That legal right is only what your soul hasn't come in line with. Okay? So if they say, well, there has been stealing, and you're like, I haven't stolen a thing in my life. Okay. I mean, I'm not a stealer. Okay. I don't steal things. But you know what? I'll be honest. I was with a guy who was a kleptomaniac one time. And I mean, I'm carrying that crap. Okay. And so I have to go, all right, Lord, guilty, guilty. I give it away. I repent. I don't want anything to do with that, you know? And just whatever it might be. And you might argue with the Lord about something you hear. That is a stupid move. He always knows. Okay. And if the enemy is there speaking, they will only be able to speak the truth or they'll be booted out of the court. So don't worry about that. You don't have to worry, oh, what if the enemy says something that's wrong? Well, the Father's going to deal with them. So don't worry. Um, if you feel like you're being attacked in the court, like, they're coming after you, you are probably in a counterfeit court. I'm going to tell you that. A lot of people experience that because they're in a counterfeit court. They can't touch you if you are there. If you're in the courts of heaven, they cannot touch you. So don't even worry about that. Just know, okay, I probably forgot to go with Yeshua or something. You know what I mean? Just be sure that you refocus if that happens. Oftentimes, you will have people from your bloodline who come and bring a witness. And so these people could be ones who actually have done the stealing, or you know what I mean? Whatever it might be, they might be like, that was me. There might be ones who come and they stick up for your character. It's so interesting what happens, but I've even had ones who come and they were like waiting for me to come to the courts so that they can get redemption, which is totally, I don't know. I theologically don't understand that. I'll say that, but it is really cool when that happens because they get set free. And I think that we don't understand what a role we have even in our family and in our bloodline to be able to redeem stuff. We have the power of redemption because we are turning. And so then we can redeem others who have been stuck. And so that's interesting. It is interesting. You guys seek all that with the Lord, of course. If there's anything you ever disagree with, feel free to disagree. I'm not offended. And go ahead and just ask the Father about it to confirm things. Okay. You don't need to believe me about everything. So you're dealing with your stuff in the courts. Be led every time. If Yeshua says, okay, I've got this, we're done, you don't have to worry. If you're like, but wait, we haven't finished, there isn't a verdict, it doesn't matter. He can finish stuff without you. There's no need for you to be there if he says you don't need to be there. If all of a sudden you see yourself in a different realm or whatever, don't worry. Just know things are going on simultaneously and you can focus over here and Yeshua can finish things in the courts. Okay. Okay. So fair. I'm just going to say this. Anything that you're sensing that's out there, I am sure there is interest in what we're doing. Okay. And it's okay. Just make sure you're not giving any like, come on in vibes. Okay. So anyway,
I don't think it was me. I don't know if it's our group that they're interested in.
I think that what's happening actually is an interest in how things work. This is what I saw with that one that you were just talking about. It's like even they're interested, which is so strange to me. I don't truly understand that. But okay. So also, when we are in the courts, we often will be led to other courts as well. So say you start in the mobile court, maybe you'll be taken to the court of war, which is also called the court of strategies. And so this might be a way that the Lord is going to give you blueprints on what you're supposed to do, or maybe just some strategy to stand against the enemy or something like that. Be sure that you stay open to going different places, even different places you've never been. Okay. The very first time I went to the court of war, I was with a group of people, um, and it was kind of a little bit of a test. Okay. It's a strange thing to say this, but um, this group, there were two who were on a bench, and they were taking three of us into the heavenly realms to try to see from the Father which one of us was supposed to be on the bench as well. And so when I say it was a test, it was kind of a test to see like what was really supposed to happen. And um, they said, okay, we're going to the court of war. Who wants to lead? Well, I'm in my mind going, I've never been there. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just stayed quiet. Well, so did everybody else. And um and they finally said, Christine, would you lead? And I said, sure, because I knew my mandate was to lead people in the heavenly realms. Okay, that's what the Lord told me. And I knew all I could do is depend on Yeshua. And so I said yes, even though I was shaking in my boots and I was like, I'm totally going to mess this up. You know, this is what I'm thinking the whole time. Like, these people been here. I don't have any idea what goes on here, nothing. And as we went in, I just shared whatever Yeshua showed me. And it was all by faith, all of it. Yeshua actually did a really cool thing in the court of war that day. And I didn't know. I was like, well, I see this big table, and he's like rolling out this big scroll, and there are these things on it that are moving around. And I was like, I do not get this. And then I saw these people that seemed like I couldn't tell if they were angels or from the cloud of witnesses or what it was. But I was like, okay, there are these people here, and I'm finding myself talking to them. And I really didn't understand all the stuff that was happening. And it turned out it was a very powerful experience. And it was also very clear that I was supposed to be leading. And so it's really, yes, that's what I thought. Okay, Lorato, is it your birthday? I want to know if it is how old you are.
She recently messaged the class and said that she wanted us to engage over her.
Oh,
Or
nice. I didn't
and
see
yeah,
that. I'm
she
sorry.
wanted
Was it during this time? Is that why?
just 4 minutes ago.
Okay.
Thank you guys. It's just that on my side, it's quite a lot of noisy background. I'm trying to get away.
Oh, it's fine. Don't feel obligated. It's okay to go enjoy yourself. You can always catch up on video. Okay. Hey, we already have been engaging over you. Today, when we were engaging the heavenly classroom, we were engaging over you and Pearl and just appreciating your life and all of that. So I'd forgotten until we got on class. I was like, I think it's Lorato's birthday too. And so I'm glad that that was confirmed.
Thank you, everybody. Yes, it is.
Yay. How old are you?
I'm turning 35.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You look like you're 24. Awesome. Well, so let's keep going. Okay. So the courts. I also want to tell you that just the other day, you know how I think the last session we had, we were talking about redeeming the land, right? Not really sure if that was the last one or anyway. We were talking about healing the land and all of that. And since then, just this last week, I had someone contact me from South Africa because I have a real mandate for that country. A lot of authority there for that country for some reason. And so this person knew that, and she asked me to help her and this other guy do a court case in the heavens because there was a court case on the earth that was needing to be completed. So oftentimes, by the way, if you're going to court in the earth, for sure go to the heavenly courts first, okay? If at all possible, because it's a higher court, and so it can rule over the lower courts. So if you're needing something to work out according to your way, which is hopefully the will of the Lord, by the way. If you're wanting the will of the Lord to come about in the courts in the earth, go first to the courts of heaven and then do it there. Okay. So that's what we were doing for this court case. And it was really, I didn't understand what was happening to begin with, but I learned through the courts of heaven that this was really about healing the land, because it was this town that had been flooded by a dam that broke, and it was all this toxic waste had destroyed the town. And so, anyway, it had also destroyed the land. And it was basically this town coming against a big corporation who should have done stuff with the dam that they knew about, but they didn't do it. And so, anyway, when we were in the courts, at first we start out in the mobile court, and then I could see accusers there who were actually the townspeople. And I was so confused because I thought we were going on behalf of the townspeople. And so I was like, how is that? I am expecting most of the time, I would say 90% of the time at least, the accusers are all demonic things and not people. I have seen people before, but generally it's just demons. And so I was surprised that all these townspeople were there, and they were like being really belligerent. I mean, just very weird and nasty and loud. And the father was getting angry. And this attorney who we were working with and was with Yeshua was defending the townspeople. And so he was acting as this kind of go-between, like to try to keep the townspeople quiet and to try to keep the father pleased with, being respectful. It was very strange. But I saw that all these townspeople needed to repent for their attitudes and all of this. And so the people I was with, they felt led to repent on behalf of the townspeople. And at the same time, I was led up to a very high court in the heavens. It's a court that I have not been a part of for years. In fact, because I had hardly seen it, I kind of assumed I don't know how to say this, my duty was done there. Okay, so I used to sit on the court of judges. I apparently still do, but I did not know that. So I was like, well, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I guess I'm probably not a part of it anymore. And I know that people move in and out of positions all the time in the heavenly realms, so it's not that weird. But I was led to sit on the court of judges again. And when I was helping the lower courts with how the judgments should go in these lower courts. And in the court of kings, this is a place where legislation is done. So new laws and all of that are passed in the court of kings. And I didn't realize, but there was some new law that was supposed to be passed that had to do with this court case with this town. And so then it was sent to the Court of Chancellors, which I don't know if you know what the Court of Chancellors is, but this is where they kind of approve if things have been done right, like if it has been, I don't know how to say this, like if the protocol is right and if everything is as it should be. So, for instance, I'm going to give a quick example. I went with a lady one time. She wanted to go to the Court of Kings, went to the Court of Kings. I could tell she was doing it all by her soul, and it was not led by the Spirit whatsoever. Okay. This is just what I was feeling as we were doing it. It was then sent to the Court of Chancellors and denied. Okay. So this is kind of what happens if it's not done as it should be, then it will be denied and it won't go forth, because what's happening is this is creating a law that is from the Father. And so if you are trying to create a law from the Father that isn't truly from the Father, it will not be approved. Okay. So that's why it gets sent through the Court of Chancellors to make sure everything has been done correctly and it's as it should be. And then it will be usually sent to maybe the Court of Scribes and then the Court of Angels. So the Court of Scribes is where everything will be recorded into kind of what has been done already. It's like where any legal documents go to be recorded into your life or into the world or whatever. And then the Court of Angels is where generally angels are assigned to then take this sort of document into the earth and deliver it to where it needs to go. And so anyway, we went all those places. I say we, it was me, on behalf of them. I wasn't even, they weren't led to do any of that. I was led to do all those different courts, which was so strange to me because I had not done that in years. But when you're led, you go. When you, I mean, at least you know it's possible. Okay. There are other courts too. It's not like those are the only courts that exist. There are more. There's the Court of the Fathers. There's the Galactic Council. Like there's all this that you may or may not go to. Okay. But it's something that is possible. And if you don't know what you're doing, let Yeshua lead. Like I said, that is the best advice I can give you. But if you find yourself in a position like this thing isn't stopping, I'm going to use you, Fair, as an example. I don't know if everybody knows what's going on with you, but you've been under pretty heavy attack for 2 or 3 years. I don't know how long it's been. A while.
5 years.
5 years. 5 years. Okay. It's been a long time. Fair has felt very, I would say, stuck in it. Trapped might be a better word. Trapped in it. It has been very difficult. I know actually, just because I saw in a little thing that you are being led to go to the courts now. I don't think it's coincidence that we're doing this class on the same day that you're supposed to be doing this stuff, because this is something that can completely shift everything. If you are led to go to the courts, you might be led to go 100 times. I'll tell you that. When I first started engaging in the courts of heaven, I was in the mobile court every day, maybe several times a day, for quite a long time. And I thought, oh my gosh, this will never end. I really thought it wouldn't end. I thought if someone said, oh, I'm done with that, I was like, yeah, right. Okay. But there was a point where it ended and I didn't have to go anymore because I had finally dealt with the layers. And I didn't realize it was all about the layers, but there are many layers. And if we can get through all the layers, it will complete. And so when you go to the courts, be as open to deal with as much as possible if you can. Okay. You might be led to deal with one thing, but if you can be open and ask, is there anything else? You can deal with a lot more and get a lot more of those layers dealt with. Okay. And so you can deal with bloodline stuff. You can deal with trauma stuff, attacks, all sorts of things in this way, stuff that other people have been through, soul ties. I mean, soul ties are actually a big one where you'll need a divorce. The same thing with familiar spirits. So familiar spirits are like soul ties with evil spirits. Okay. And so you'll need to deal with these things and get divorce decrees from these things. Otherwise, you won't even recognize that something's attacking you, and you will just think it's you. I mean, I don't know how many times I thought forever I was a people pleaser, and I thought it's just my personality. It's who I am. And when the Lord showed me I had a fear of man that was a familiar spirit, I was like, okay, I don't understand this, but we dealt with it. He led me to get a divorce decree from this fear of man. And what happened after that was so interesting. I still was being tempted with this fear of man and people pleasing stuff, but I could recognize it as not being me. It was like before, I would just fall into it without even thinking. And then afterwards go, oh, why did I react like that? And then have to repent for reacting like that. This time I would see it coming and going, don't choose that, Chris. Like it was a very clear, like real temptation instead of something that I just thought was part of me. So the same thing has happened in my past with eating, like with overeating. I just thought, oh, this is a problem that I have. It's just a problem that I overeat. I eat the wrong stuff. I crave the wrong things. I go to it for emotional support, whatever. I just thought it was me. That's who I am. That's my whole family's like this. So I'm sure I'm like this. Okay. That's not true. It wasn't me because now I'm free from that. I don't do that. Once in a while, I will recognize a temptation. I will feel a temptation to go and like eat because I deserve it. Okay. Do you ever do that? Like, I've had a really bad day. I deserve that really bad cheeseburger. Okay. It makes no sense, but I do that. I mean, I don't as much anymore, but I feel that temptation big time. And so when I feel the temptation, I'm like, okay, that is not helpful. My body is only going to feel worse if I do that. Like I can logically go, that's not me. Where before it was like, I totally thought it was me. It was like only afterwards would I go, that was dumb. Why did I do that? But in the moment, it felt like the best decision. And so, anyway, we have these things that we partner with and we just think it's who we are. I also had a problem with rage. Rage was a huge problem for me for most of my life. If you guys know me pretty well, I don't know. You don't know my personal life much, but I'm not that person at all now. But before, it was so part of me, I did not think it was something I could ever get out of. I really thought this is the sin I'll deal with my whole life. Because I could not find a way out. It was always afterwards I would regret how I reacted. But it wasn't something I felt I could control in the moment. In the moment, I thought I was justified every time. And then afterwards, I'd be like, oh man, I'm the worst. And this was such a huge problem for me that one day when it finally broke off, I realized, oh my gosh, this isn't just me. And after that, it was something that I could control. And part of it was nutrition for me. And I did not realize like that could even have any kind of impact. I thought it was, oh, I grew up in a really angry household. And so then I'm just this way. And one day when you guys, I always drink this drink called Zeal, right? You guys probably know that. Well, it's like just a bunch of, you don't know. Okay. Well, you haven't been around me very, very long, Karen. Everybody else is like Zeal this, Zeal that. Okay. So anyway, it's just a superfood drink that I drink. And, I would always start my day with it. And this one day I didn't start my day with it because I was rushing to get the kids around to go to this homeschool group. And I just was like, these kids are the worst. I'm like really mad, super mad, yelling at the kids. Come on, you're supposed to be getting ready. I'm just like, this is what I was doing. I know Fair's laughing. Okay. I was really losing it. And I'm like, I'm going to kill these. Okay, I wouldn't really do that, but you know that feeling inside that you're like, these kids better get in this van, you know? And so anyway, I was so mad, and I was getting ready, and I texted my homeschool group ladies going, you better pray for me. I'm going to kill these kids. You know, I will be there when I get there. I'm sorry. Well, then, and I had taken my zeal with me in the car because I hadn't gotten around to drinking it because I was getting these kids out the door. And they're like a mess by this point, screaming, crying, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All the things. And I start drinking, and I'm thinking my rage is because of them. Okay. It's all because of them. And I start drinking my zeal drink. I'm like, completely calm and the kids are still going crazy. And I'm like, crap, I'm fine. This is not me. This is not them. This is a problem with me and my nutrition. And so I started going, okay, Lord, help me understand this. What do I do? And he started giving me strategy for this. And so I started doing it. And I would, if I started getting upset, I would grab another zeal and I would go to the bathroom because that was the only prayer closet I had. And so I would go to the bathroom, lock myself in the bathroom with the Lord, and the Lord and zeal and I would all have some time together so I could calm myself down until I could get out and be a normal person again. And I started this practice, and the Lord just showed me, I thought I had this problem with rage and it wasn't me. And so when that happened, now my kids, they don't even remember me being like that. They never remember me ever yelling at them, which is a miracle, by the way, because I was the worst back then. Really, it's so cool that now they only know me as the peaceful mom. If they say I yell at them, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, excuse me, that's my yelling now. Okay. Before it was cussing and screaming and being like the worst. Okay. Now it's like just being stern is what they think is yelling, because that isn't who I am anymore. And so it's really cool when we can break these things off as the Lord leads. Sometimes it'll be in the courts, sometimes it'll be through crazy revelation like that. But whatever it is, we can go, wait, I'm not partnering with that being who I am. So after that, I was like, I'm not doing that. Rage, I'm having a divorce. I'm not partnering with this is me. It's not me. Now I know that's outside of me. It's just something that's constantly tempting me. And so when I am low in nutrition, it's tempting me and I fall for it. That's what happens. Okay. So I have temptations that happen because I'm nutritionally deficient, which is so crazy. But that's how we are. Think about hormones. You're more likely to fall for stupid crap when you're hormonal and you're about to have your period, right? You're like, why am I so mad? This doesn't make sense. And you know it doesn't make sense, but you can't help the feelings. You know, these are things that we actually can control. We can ask the Lord to lead us to the right things that our body needs to partner with our soul so that we have the best chance of making good choices. And when I say good choices, I mean what's life-giving. No condemnation if you do stupid stuff. We all do stupid stuff. It doesn't make us a stupid person, you know? Just like we all sin, it doesn't make us a sinner. I'm not a sinner, okay? I make choices that miss the mark 100%. I do that. But the Lord just goes back to the tree of life. Lord, come over here. You're okay. Come back to life. What's life giving? Life giving is not cussing out my kids. You know, life giving is loving them through the mess. And so thankfully, he does that with me because I have been a whole hot mess, you guys. This is my life. And the only reason I can even speak on any of this is because I've been the worst. I've gone through a lot of crap. I have done a lot of crap. And I'm not proud of all of the things, but it is something that has made me who I am. And I'm happy to have had the experience of having a rage problem so that I can know what it's like on the other side. It's so cool now to be able to say, yeah, I can have peace in my house. This is something that is supreme. The Lord will lead in my life. I don't have to let my hormones lead. I don't have to let stupid people affect me. If I have people who are calling me the worst names, I don't have to get all down on myself about it, because I would before. Why don't people like me? I would really be the worst about bawling over stupid people. Why doesn't this stupid person like me? By the way, not all people are stupid. I'm not trying to say that, but people who are acting stupid, I should say. There are times when people have said really nasty things about me, and I think, how could you think that about me, my character? You would think that. Now it's like, all right, go do you. I don't care. Like, it's fine. You want to think that? That's on you. I understand you're going through crap and this is why you're thinking stupid stuff. Like, I can recognize that it's not a problem with me when other people do stuff, or even when the enemy attacks. When the enemy attacks, even people who are doing witchcraft, it is so interesting because now I don't look at them the same way. I used to get really upset, really pissed. I mean, I was mad at them, and I would be like, I am going to send them, this bomb that'll kill them. This is okay. I went, not a real bomb, but in the spirit or something. And so I would feel that stuff against them. And now the Lord goes, I want you to see him through my eyes. Okay. And so this is one of the main things I do in the courts. I go often to the courts now just to have the Father show me people through their eyes so I can absolutely forgive. Okay. Because I can't forgive when I'm only seeing through my lens. I've learned that about myself. When I see from I'm like, how dare you? I've done nothing to you, whatever. And then he shows me they think this is going to help them, that they're deceived. I see people who make covenants with demons to try to get health for their kids. Like, they make these stupid, I say stupid covenants because it's stupid to me, but they do these curses and these things to try to take things from other people for what they need. And they don't know a different way. They are thinking that that's all they can do. If I can send this thing to you to give you an ailment, I can take that health that you have. Same thing, they do it with money. They do it with everything they can think of. They will make covenants to take from you to receive for themselves. And for those they love, it's not always only for them. So, but that's what they know. They know that spiritually this works. And so they go, okay, if I can do this, then this is what I'll receive in return. And it's just all of this deception. They don't realize that there's a different way, that they don't have to take to receive. Like for us, we all know we have abundant resources in the heavenly realms, and we don't need to take from anybody to receive. I don't need to take anything from fair for me to receive, right? I have whatever I need. But they think the only way I can get money is if I take fair's money. That's how they look at it. That's the only way I can get money is if I can take fair's money. The only way I can get health is to take her health. So I need my eye to be fixed. I need to take her eye health. So I'm going to send something to her so I can receive that health. That's how they think. That's what they're told. And oftentimes it works. It's a spiritual law. But what they don't understand is they don't have to take from there. There are these infinite resources they can get through Yeshua, but they don't understand it. And so they're on assignment. Sometimes they're on assignment and they're trying to not get killed by doing stuff that other people are trying to make them do, because they've made covenants. A lot of times they put themselves under somebody as a covenant to, again, get what they want, get what they need. But then they have to do anything that they say. And if they don't, they'll be killed. This is real life for them. And so if you think about it, we don't have to hold grudges against people who are deceived. We can actually love them into the truth. We can pray over them. We can release good stuff over them. If you feel you are being attacked with your eye health. Okay. I'm just making something up, but, and you're like, why are they sending this to me? Go, okay, they're probably lacking something in the eye health. So I'm just going to pray that they get this eye health without having to affect me. So just release it for them. Why not bless them? I mean, that's what we're supposed to do, is bless those who curse us, right? I mean, there's real truth in this. These words aren't just like, well, that'd be the good thing to do. No, it's actually like helpful. It's helpful if we bless those who curse us. It will help them, which also helps us. So we have to recognize there are spiritual truths. We can release things on others. The best way to do that is to go to the courts. Father, I need you. I'm going to bring my heart before you right now. I need you to show me what's ugly in me. This is what I do first every time in the courts. The very first thing is I go, please show me I lay my heart before you. Show me what's happening inside of me. Generally, by the time I get to the problem I have, I already have recognized the junk inside of myself and repented, and it's fine. Okay, I used to do this when I was married, and I'd be really upset at my husband for doing something mean or stupid, and I would take him to court. Okay, so this is what I would do. I would say, okay, we're going to court, and he wouldn't know it, but I was doing it with Yeshua. And so I would go to court, and I'd be like, Dustin did this to me, and I did not deserve this. And then I would say, okay, but here's my heart, Lord, show me inside of me anything I need to repent from. And then the Lord would be like, should you have talked to him like that? And then I would, just whatever it was. And it would be all the stuff. And I'd repent for this, repent for this. And then all of a sudden, it's like I could already start to see his perspective and be like, okay, I forgive him. Like it's so interesting when we bring our own heart and then we ask to see them through the Lord's eyes. The Father will show us their brokenness. He'll show us their purpose, all sorts of things that we don't want to even see or are not capable of seeing on our own. And it is so easy to forgive somebody when you see that perspective. Because when we're only looking through our own hurt, it's sometimes seemingly impossible to forgive. But when we see something through their hurt or through their purpose, it's like, whoa, I did not realize that's the reality, Anyway, I don't know if any of this is helpful for you guys, but I felt like I was supposed to talk a bit more on the courts and the things that are going on. Do you guys have questions? Any questions about what to do or anything like that?
I do. So, what do you do when someone has just made it their life mission to assault? How do you address that? Because, in theory, if they're looking at your ancestry to see what they can pull to go against you, that's infinite to
Well,
make your
kind
life
of.
hard.
I mean, you can, first of all, you can go through the courts yourself to get all sorts of cleansing so you don't have any open doors there. Because think about it. You deal with stealing. You're going to be dealing with all sorts of people in your bloodline. You're going to be dealing with people you partner with. You're going to deal with your own past and trauma, all that stuff in one go. And so if you go through a lot of this, you will be able to cleanse yourself and give less and less open doors. There's that. Okay. But I think the better thing to do would be to take them to the court and ask the Father, what legal rights do they have? And how can you show me through your eyes this person? Okay. Because the Father will then show what your role is. Because, for instance, you've been on defense this whole time. I mean, when I first started seeing you, you weren't even doing defense. You were just like shielding yourself, hoping to not get hit more. And now you've risen up. You're more on defense, but you certainly are not on offense. Right? I mean, when are you going, okay, Lord, what do I need to do in the spirit toward them? Okay. That's what they're doing all day long is what do I need to do in the spirit toward this person? You need to do what do I need to do in the spirit toward this person? It's going to be totally different. You're not going to be cursing them. You're going to be releasing stuff in their life. You're going to, I mean, there is this guy who I would consider I wouldn't now, okay, but at the time I would consider him my enemy. And it was a real person on the earth who was trying to make my life miserable. He hated what I was doing. He was a very prominent pastor in this city. He led lots and lots of pastors, and he was coming against me and my ministry in everything he was doing. And I was like, I am not doing anything to him. Why would he possibly be doing this? And he thought I was deceiving everybody. So that's why he wanted to do this against me, to try to shut me down. He tried to get all of my family to disassociate from me. He tried to do anything he could do to get me. Okay. And of course, I go to the courts. I'm like, Father, this guy, I can't even handle him. I basically kind of hated him. Okay. I'm not going to say that because I wouldn't use those words, but that's the feeling was like, I cannot stand this man. How can I get him out of this life or out of my life anyway? And so, anyway, I went and the Father started showing me these sin attachments that he had, these familiar spirits in his life. And the Father asked me to stand for him and repent on his behalf so that he could get let go of these spirits. And so before I knew it, I was fighting for him, not against him. I was going and I was doing the work like I was him. I was becoming one with him so I could repent on his behalf. It wasn't even stuff I'd done. It was like, or he'd done against me, none of that. It was like this porn addiction and all this stuff that had nothing to do with me. And the Father had me seeing into his life and his heart and all of that and all of the people he was affecting and how it was a really bad ripple effect because of the stuff that was holding him. And so I was going and I was fighting for him and I was advocating for him and I was blessing him. And I'll tell you, since then, I haven't been able to see him the same way. I don't have any animosity against him. I recognize that what he's doing is all he knows to do, and that the Lord still is going to turn his life around. I see what he's made for, and I know I'm fighting for his destiny now. And that is a different way of looking at things. I feel like that is the love of Yeshua that I was missing because I could only see my own hurt. But when I went and got that perspective, it's like Yeshua was embodying me. Does that make sense? Like, or maybe the opposite. I'm not saying it right, but this is like, I could feel the oneness with Yeshua again. Like, this is how he sacrificed. All those people who hurt him so badly and spat on him and called him horrible names and said he was from the devil and all of these things, he just turned it around and saw their destiny and loved on them and fought for them. And that's what we need to do. So when you go through these really hard things that last forever and you think there's no way out, go, I need a new perspective. Just ask the Father for his perspective to get out of your own perspective. Really, that's the best thing that we can do. Ugh. Anyway, sorry, man.
But this abuse has been horrible. It has, the level of abuse that I've gone through, I'm surprised I'm still saved. I am. I'm looking at the Father like, I don't know how much more I can take of this. For you to be assaulted relentlessly, is too much. She got this, that's supposed to happen, this and that. And you're like, my life has just it feels like I've been spiritually incarcerated because of somebody else. And you're looking at Father like, I want to do right. I want to do right, but you got to get me out. This isn't just for me. Yes, you got problems. I was abused. I was mistreated.
Right.
Their problems are their problems, and mine are mine. I can't take on theirs because I'm tired. I need a life. I'm surprised that I'm still here, given what I've been through. It's just too much. And I'm looking at the Father like it's too much.
I saw when we were engaging in the classroom earlier, Fair, I saw you completely covered on this one side by the Father, and there were these different layers. And instead of that being a comfort for you, it was a burden. And I didn't want to say it because I was like, this isn't going to make sense. But I think you need to hear. You were so used to the other attacks, you felt like the Father's part was a burden. And it's only there for goodness and protection. And so, you're in psychology. Please let me know that you know this. If someone is depressed, one of the easiest things to do to get them out of it is to have them go serve. Right? Do you guys know this? Like, this is, if someone is depressed, you ask them to go do something nice for somebody else. And when they do, they don't want to do it. They never want to do it. I mean, you never want to leave your house when you're depressed. You're like, just let me sleep this away. I don't want to exist. But when you go out and you do something nice for someone else, it invigorates you. And it breathes new life into you. And it might be for a moment, but it works. And if the Father is giving you this, it's interesting because when we were engaging, remember you saw the baby and I sent you a message because this is what the Lord showed me. Fair said, I see a baby being delivered. Will you look to see what that's about? And so I was like, sure. So of course I'm like, all right, Lord, is someone going to have a baby? You know, I'm like really not thinking the Lord's way. And the Lord showed me that this baby being birthed was a ministry and a business. So like together that Fair was going to start, that was going to be for helping people, especially those who had gone through things like this. And not only was it going to happen, this was like soon. So it's being birthed. It's like coming about. This you've been going through is going to birth that. It's like the horrible birthing pains, which I know very little about. I've had a lot of contractions and stuff, but I had 3 C-sections, so I don't really know the whole birthing thing. Okay. But you think it'll never end, and it just is the worst pain you could go through until it's done. And then there's something that was well worth it. And this is what's going on in your life. And so, this could be for more than just you, but I specifically saw it for you. And so the stuff you're going through that you think there's no way you can fight for anybody else because you're fighting so much for yourself. That's not true. That's also a lie from the enemy. That's not what the Lord has said. And I believe him. I believe him because when you step out and you help, I noticed it even during our engaging time. When you were receiving all the stuff for other people, it's life-giving for you.
Is it really?
Yes. Which is so funny because what I saw was that stuff was burdening you. But how it came about was life-giving. And it's so interesting that the Lord working through you is very life-giving to you. And you just have seen the spiritual stuff as a burden, all of it. Right?
I have. I have, because I'm like, I don't know how I stepped in this, but how do I step out of it? It's like somebody crapped and I'm just stuck. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it, honest to God, feels like.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to start in the courts. And I mean, I know you've been doing court work. Don't misunderstand. I still feel like you need to start in a different place. You need to ask for the Father's perspective, not only on your life, but on theirs. And switch it around to where you are then, you're holding the arrows. You're doing all that. It's just going to be a different way. You know, I've talked a million times about a love bomb. How the Lord basically corrected me one time when I was in that angry, I'm going to fight back the witchcraft stuff. And I was in the same sort of boat. And the Father said, no, you need to release this love bomb. And I'm like, I don't understand that. And, and he just said, release this powerful wave of my energy that is pure love out of you, and it will scare them off or make them turn. And so that's what I do now. And boy, it is effective. You know, those guys run from me now. And it's so interesting because it wasn't like that before. I was getting beat up all the time from every direction, it felt like. And I'm like, there are witches in other countries after me. Then there are witches across the street after me. Then there, you know, it's like, then I have people following me and people videotaping me. And I'm like, over it, you know? And then I started doing that and they started literally running. Literally. I have this witch doctor who's down here who, when he sees me now, he runs. He literally turns and runs. And I'm like, you don't have to run now. You know, in my heart, I'm finally over the get away. You know, that's how I was before. And, you know, now all I'm doing is love bombing and they're running, which is hilarious. It's the good stuff. Anyway, I don't mean
Can
to
I say something?
please.
You know, you were telling Farah that it was life-giving for her, but it's not only life-giving for her, it's life-giving for others. Because you've spoken some things to me that have really helped me a lot, like totally changed some of the way that I think. And so, you know, that's why I wanted to say that, because it's not only life-giving for you, it's life-giving for others. And I think one of the things too, dare I say this, but one of the things too is that the Father still loves those people. And even though that they are where they are right now, he does not want them to go to hell, right? He does, or, you know, he doesn't want them to have that disconnection with him, even though that they are doing what they're doing. And it's for us to extol them and to send them that love bomb, because when we're sending them that love bomb, it's like Christine said, how do we know whether they're not going to change during that time? And, you know, the Father is love, period. So I just want to say that.
Thanks, Amanda. All right. Any more questions or comments?
Look, I definitely need to learn how to love mom. And
If
fair.
y'all want, yeah, engage over me about that, the love, because I'm over here like these fools are trying to send strokes and heart attacks. They're
They
playing
do
for
the same.
keeps.
They do the
Yeah.
same to me.
And
But I was expecting that.
I had a device yesterday. I'm gonna be very candid. I couldn't even poop yesterday. And I'm over here speaking in tongues, texting folks like it's not passing, it's not moving, and it was just horrible.
At least they're not trying to give you gas where you're going just passing gas everywhere. I'm just saying.
I mean, I've been having that trouble. So I have the opposite of like this can't quit the poops and having, I mean, if you want, that's really what was going on last week while we couldn't have class. I was like, could not stay off of the toilet. It was constant. And then I have these horrible, nasty death burps that, I mean, I'm sorry. That's my weirdness that's happening. And I keep having attacks in this way. And I go, is this attacks? Is this my body? What's happening? And I have to go through this whole like, you know, but this is life. We all go through these things.
Yeah. I was like, get the magnet out of my tail. What are you doing? It's a magnet. I'm like, it's not. Oh, I was praying my butt off yesterday. I was calling out to the Lord. I'm like, not this way, Lord. I can't leave this way.
Boy, we need to like combine our bodies or something. Okay. If you're having the constipation, you just throw it my way and I'll throw you some of my loose stools and then it will help each other out.
I'll take that. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. Yeah, it's okay though. But I do, if you guys would engage over me so I don't become bitter and angry and resentful to the point to where I don't want to exist anymore.
No.
Because you feel beat up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely feeling that this week, because like from my waist below, my body was just so fatigued. And, it's harder, um, like having to get up earlier because I've got to ride the bus and, just going through a lot of stuff, and it's like, Lord, but you promised me healing and, you go into that whole thing and you're like, what am I doing wrong? What am I, and it's like, I was telling Christine earlier, I don't, they wanted me to go to a neurologist and I'm like, but I don't feel like God's called me to go there, I don't feel like God said, hey, the Father said, hey, you need to go here. And, I'm just standing on, what he told me is, you're going to be healed. You have to go through this process. And so I'm trying to stand strong and, y'all were talking about the releasing of hope earlier. And I said, I'm just going to take that because that's what I really need right now.
Yeah. Ah, that's cool. Did you see what Fair said? She said, I see a lake or a pool that has healing oil in it. I think it's a portal for you. Grab it. So no one can steal it.
And that's something I wanted to ask y'all. When things come down to us, like little portals and stuff, can the opposite side steal these portals, these things?
A
What do you think?
portal they can't steal, but they can um use it and overtake it. So like it's this way with doors a lot. There are a lot of these like everlasting doors that are created and they will come and start guarding it and start using it only for them and we have to take it back. And so a lot of times you'll have to go to the court of kings to do that, by the way. So um yeah, I would say if you find something like that that has been overtaken, it could be for you, or it could be for anybody. I mean, it could be it's been there long before you. I don't know. But if you find something is overtaken by the enemy like that, definitely go to court to get it back. I would do that. That's the same with any kind of gate inside of yourself, too. So, like, even you
Um,
were talking about like the hope gate and stuff. If you find that there is demonic stuff that's guarding that gate, then you need to go to the courts and you need to ask for anything that's guarding that gate to come and give the accusations. Repent, do all the things, and then you'll be able to have either the Holy Spirit or angels guarding that so it'll stay open for you. So, yeah, because it'll be anything that's guarded like that, these gates, it's like it blocks ways of us having the Spirit come in and out, like the Holy Spirit, like good Spirit, and the love and all of that. And so it's the same in the earth. If you see some sort of door or portal and it's blocked or it's overtaken by the enemy, you need to get it back because it's a way that you're supposed to travel. It's a way that you're supposed to go. And so we always want to try to take these things back if you recognize it. I don't always see it, I'll be honest. So I need people like you. Like that's part of your gifting is to see stuff like that. And I need people like you to be able to see it so then I can go do the work. Like I can do the work. Maybe you can't do the work. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like that's really why we're supposed to work together like this. So.
Because the last few times that I was on with you guys, I kept saying, or I kept feeling, we need to get it. We need to grab it. We need to grab it, or it's going to go. I kept feeling that. I'm like, I've never felt like that before. But Holy Spirit.
It's not only that the enemy will take it, it's like it will become unavailable. So I know it's this way. You know how I've said this a million times, but Yeshua has a gift for us every day. We just have to ask for it. If we don't ask for it, we don't have access to it anymore. So we need to ask for it. We need to receive everything he has for us because we will miss it. Will we miss it forever? Not necessarily. That's not always true, but we miss it for the time we need it. And so he'll give us these things if we just are intentional and ask. And so if you see things like that, for sure say it because you will give the opportunity for people to grab it. It's just one thing I don't like is a lot of people will just grab it because they think it's a good idea. And it's not for everyone. And so you need to make sure that the Lord is saying to grab it. So just if Fair or anybody else says, here's this, it's available to grab. I don't want to see every single person on the chat. I'm claiming that. Okay, shush and just ask the Lord if you're supposed to claim it and then claim it. Okay. Kidneys and pancreas. What is that? Because I'm like having this right now that I need some of this love.
I don't think it's mine.
Please let it be for me. Last night my kidneys were hurting so bad and I've struggled so much with this stuff. I just had a big panel done on my pancreas and all this.
And it seems like there are angels to assist with this, to take something off of that rim with it. I can't see them well, but I can sense them.
Yay. You know what? I've been feeling led to ask for angels, but I don't even know who I'm asking for. I feel like there are these 3 angels that are supposed to help with all my kidney and pancreas and liver, blood sugar stuff, all of that. And I just have felt recently this week. I hadn't really felt like there were any angels who were helping with that until now. So that's awesome. If you don't mind, I will press in for just a moment and hopefully take hold of all that too. Yeah. You can keep talking if you want, by the way.
I wanted to say something about, Dan Duvall Ministries. He was doing a series on pre-Adam. It's basically what it was. And he talked about how whatever happened in the pre-Adamic to you could have easily followed you here to this time.
It's true.
I heard, yeah.
And he did an interview with, I can't think of her name right now, but she talked about it too. She's a survivor, or her story is amazing, like what she survived. And one of the things that caught my eye, because we've talked about this in the past couple of classes, was about how somebody had said that the Lord was dismantling marriages that were not supposed to be there, that were not supposed to have even been from the beginning. And she talked about her marriage and how her marriage followed her from the pre-pandemic to now. They
Mm.
had divorced. He was a part of her programming, and but they are still together, which and it's because the father has not told her to leave yet. But it just reminded me of some of the things that I was going through, and I want to, to engage with the father more over that, to find out if there's some things that have come with me to this time, and it just it just really, just I want to engage more over that and find out just like how it's affecting my life now. And then there was one more thing. Um, I listened to what is his name? He sees angels all the time. He's been a seer since he was very, very
Oh,
young.
here, Micah Turnbow or
Yes,
whatever.
yeah, Micah Turnbow, and he was talking about the angel, the watcher for America, and he said that it was an indigenous angel, and I was like, and he talked also about that right now is the time of healing the land.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
That's
It's
cool.
amazing. And I told Nidia about it. I messaged her um, because when we engaged over all the stuff that we did for the indigenous, um, the chief, I'm wondering if that's who the angel was
Hmm.
that came to speak with us.
Maybe that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it was really.
Yeah.
That's fun. Cool.
Wow.
Um,
So, yeah, there's an angel around here that looks indigenous that comes around sometimes, and but I can't really discern exactly what he wants me to do. I was like, I see you, and I can see you. You're throwing bow and using bow and arrows against the enemy, but I don't know what's my role. How can I help you? I believe in that. If you help me, I'm helping you. Or if I see you struggling, I'm gonna send a word up to the Lord. I don't know what to do, but I'll speak in tongues and Holy Spirit will tell. He'll tell it.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. Karen, I saw you said, how do you deal with programming? Is that in the court? That's how
Ooh.
I've dealt with programming a lot, has been in the courts. So, um, you have to generally deal with the soul parts that have been programmed because they basically program different soul parts. So, you generally don't have programming for your conscious mind. It'll be the programs only work in your subconscious. So that's why they stick to these different parts, basically. So you can only get these certain parts through trauma. Um, Generally, I know this is not the case for like fair right now, but generally, I would say 95% of the time, these parts can only be um, and I would say dissected. I don't know if dissect is the right word, but they can only be made with trauma that's when you were a very young child. And so that stuff happens really easily. Um, yeah. So I would go and ask what part is holding this? Is there any programming I'm unaware of? Can I get rid of this programming? Just that sort of stuff. And if you need help with that, I can help with that. But that's the main thing. Sometimes with a lot of times with different parts and programming, you'll need help because it is in your subconscious mind. It's not in your conscious mind. So someone else will have to kind of go to see it, if that makes sense. So,
And that work is life producing. Oh my God. I think I would have, things would have been significantly worse had I not been on that journey of trying to figure things out with that. So, yeah.
I
But,
know.
Chris, did you ever check to see if that pancreas and kidney was yours?
Yes, and I was receiving that stuff. So I don't know if I was receiving a new pancreas and kidney. I didn't really get anything like that, but it's like it was associated with those angels. And so they were coming to help. Yeah.
It looks like that they were being restored.
Yay. That's what I'm
Mhm.
looking for.
Yeah.
I have big high hopes for that. In fact, this year, I really have a high hope that this year they will be completely restored and healed, happy. Yeah.
There seems to be like a river of something that's flowing from the Father's throne to this place, to where we are. I don't know how that's possible, but I think we better hop in and get a little bit of healing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to help with my uh, issues with bitterness. So
Awesome.
I'm still human. I'm working.
That's
I
awesome.
saw your kidneys clapping and jumping. Your kidneys
That's so
and your
fun.
pancreas. They were like so excited,
That's so cool. Thank you, Lord.
full of joy.
Thank you. And that's- Awesome. Okay.
And there is a chained heart. I'm trying to see, is it me? This heart has been chained up and locked away. I don't know if there's somebody did something or is just being angry or.
I see it's like a younger part. I'm not sure if it who it is actually, but I am seeing this younger self. Actually, I think it's in Karen um that has that chained heart. So you should probably engage that. See if you can see her. Can you try to see that younger part of you?
The younger part of me is a little girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then maybe she seems kind of scared. Um,
Mm,
and so see if you can kind of welcome her in for a hug, um, kind of a safe one. And then you can show her Yeshua wants to unchain her heart. And it's okay that you can help her hold the heart.
yeah.
And if she comes back into you, that you can help hold her heart forever. And she can come into full healing and acceptance.
I wanted to, yeah, before we run out of time, there's like a line on the back of somebody's leg. I don't know if it's witchcraft or just demonic courting, left leg in the back. And then I saw somebody had thorns in the heart, and a spirit is trying to remove it, but I don't know if they're able to get everything without permission from the person. And I don't know who these things are for.
Felt like the leg was Amanda. And I saw at least myself asking for any thorns to be removed from me. I don't know if it's for me only, but I did see myself doing that. I see that's also for Amanda too.
I see a vomiting of something. I don't know what that is. It's more in the spirit than the physical, but it affects the physical body. I don't. Let me know if that's me and I need to engage it because it's been a little rough.
Oddly, I saw that that was for River, who is not here, but maybe she'll be watching this and see it.
In the ear, unstopping of the ear. I don't know who that is for. Only give it as they give it to me, guys.
Thank you, Lord. Okay. Well, we are almost out of time. Let me just tell you that I will today get all of the stuff put on the scheduling site for the new months that we'll have coming up. So if you want to do that before next week, that would be awesome. If you have anyone you want to invite to join in this month, feel free. I think it will be fun now to do month to month stuff. And yeah, I don't know how all of this will work. I haven't even really told people, so that's not very helpful. But I'll try to tell people too. But I know that, man, the Lord keeps doing things I don't expect. Even during this class, I was like, Lord, what in the world? Is this even going to be helpful? And then, of course, it's always really helpful. So I know He has big things for us, and we just have to show up and be ready for it. So, anyway, that's all. I love you guys very much. I'll see you later.
Love you all too. I'll see you later.
Love you.
Bye.
I really appreciate all of you.
You
Thank
too.
you. All right.
Love you guys.
Love you.